It's a frequency control show. We got me, Willie Stride, um, action attraction. So this is another one about action and the importance of that in this whole process. Um, Decided every week about Thursday, like everyone's hump day is like Wednesday, mine's Thursday. I get kind of like deflated. I feel like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, why am I even doing something above and beyond what everybody else is doing? You know, like, why can't I just be like regular people? And so I feel down on myself, and then I'm like, I get excited on Thursday, going, that's the podcast day. I'm like excited for something that feels like the highlight of my week. So I'm happy to be here. I'll leave it off to Will.
What up? What up? So, a couple shows ago, we were talking about how, for myself, the ending of the year and stuff. December's a pretty big month. Some family birthdays, my birthday, Christmas, New Year's. I really like to dial it in, closing the year out and starting a new year with the correct type of energy moving forward. And so I really started focusing and taking more action to get a lot of stuff in place. I had some goals. Other than the goals I had for the end of the year that I didn't quite happen, I still had some stuff I wanted to have finished up and ready to go for 2022, and finishing those things and just taking all the action towards these things. My energy has changed 100%. I feel more confident. I feel better about going through my day, knowing that I've been taking more action towards what I want, not taking so much action towards the things I don't want. Or not even action, but thinking about it all the time. A couple shows ago, I was talking about how I was so obsessed with my job that all I was really succeeding at in my life was succeeding at my job. And I could, just by taking more action to close the year out and get these processes in place and my energy right and vibrating at a higher level rolling into 2022, all the energy of what's going on has changed. Even at work, like I've noticed, my energy has changed at work as well. And I'm not so focused on winning at work, but I'm so much more focused on what I'm doing outside of work, that I'm, towards my goals and what I want to achieve this year. And for some reasons, it's easier to talk about the angles from a work angle, because I notice, the sales and stuff has dipped a little bit through the holidays, but the energy of taking action towards what I want has completely changed the energy when I'm at work, because I'm more obsessed with where I'm going and I'm less obsessed with where I'm at. And that energy shift, it's really hard to explain. It's changed 100%. And the biggest way I can feel it is when I'm at work and I just don't care as much. I'm not so obsessed with winning at my job. I'm not so obsessed with being number one at my job. You know, yes, succeeding at my job is highly important to me. And yes, there are parts of my job that I enjoy doing and talking about. And of course, sales, I just love, I enjoy the sales part of it and the challenges I personally just create in my own head, challenges to keep me going. But I've noticed since I've made the switch from just a couple episodes ago, when I made the switch from being so obsessed with thinking about the job when I'm at home, and more at when I'm at home, I'm obsessed with where I'm going. And now when I'm at work, I have, when I'm going on breaks and lunches, I'm still working towards what I'm trying to accomplish outside of the job. So the energy at work is completely different. The only way I can explain it is I just, the drive isn't 100%. I know I can, I am still succeeding, but I'm not trying to be that killer savage like I've been, because that energy is more focused towards where I'm going now. And that's just, it's so hard to explain, but I wanted to just kind of touch on all of the action that I've been doing and getting more obsessed and thinking more about where I'm going and my goals, and taking the proper actions to raise my energy by doing this daily takeoff checklist that I've created in the morning, and really shifted my energy and reading more, listening to audios consistently, and taking more action towards what I want, and being obsessed with it more than I am the basic stuff, the basic stuff I'm doing. Everything's changed. So now when I'm at work, and I notice that, I'm not the same me when I'm at work, because now that version of me is ready for what's coming next. And I'm working towards what's coming next. I'm obsessed with where I'm going next. I'm obsessed with what I'm creating along my path to get to where I need to go next. I'm excited about taking action and finishing these things that I've been working on, so I can continue working on other things I want to do and focus more on some other things I want to complete to add to the whole picture and lay some more dominoes. It's just really exciting. It's really exciting when you focus more on where you're going and less on where you're at. And that's where I was kind of stuck in for a while.
Yeah, getting obsessed with like your next logical step.
I can't see your video. Do you know that?
That's, you can't see my video, but they can see me. So anyway, so getting obsessed with your next logical step is hugely important, because you find yourself so focused on all the other things, as in like what you need to do in the immediate, like having a job and working that job, but that's not what's going to get you where you want to go. It's helping float you. Don't get me wrong, you need that job to help fund whatever it is you're trying to do. Yeah, your audio is just going crazy right now. It's like all fuzz. Yeah, it's crazy sounding. Hold on, guys. Will's pressing buttons and doing random shit. Put it back to the way it was. I can't hear you.
I don't like not being able to see you.
If I have zero to do with anything, I turn that video off to that. Okay. There we go. All right. So anyway, but being obsessed with that next logical step as opposed to, focusing on the stuff that's not necessarily where you're trying to be. So you're trying to be, a doctor or whatever it is. Why would you focus on your job at the Circle K, which is floating you there? Sure, you have to focus on that, but if that's all you focus on, then you just will forever be the employee at the Circle K. So you've got to focus on whatever it is you're doing, and even if that focus to get you to the next step is 3 hours a night or 2 hours a night, because that's all you have after you work that job that you have to pay the bills with and you have to eat off of, then you still just need to treat it like it's priority, even though it's only 2 hours of your life every day. That's only 2 hours of your life. You have to literally treat that like it's the biggest priority ever, because that's where you're trying to go. You're trying to get there and look back on, your Circle K job. Our problem is everybody keeps looking back on their job at Circle K, Lowe's, whatever it happens to be, your contractor job, whatever your job that is, they're stepping stone transition or helping fund wherever you're trying to go, and they're treating that like a priority because it is paying the bills at the moment in time. But the problem is they treat their 3 hours a night or 2 hours a night, and they leave it as an option. You start treating that like an option, like, okay, I finished my job at the contractor job, laying tile or carpet or working at Target or wherever you work. But I did what I needed to do. But I'm too tired after that, and it's 2 hours on where I'm trying to be. I'm just going to let that go and go to bed. Well, guess what? You're always going to be the Target employee or the Lowe's employee or the person who's the tile layer or whatever it is you do, because that's the only thing you gave precedence to. You have to go, those 2 hours are more important than that job you just spent 8 hours or 9 hours at. And the fact that you're more likely to give up those 2 hours extra towards your goal than you are to call in sick from that regular job, then you're gonna have whatever it is you chose. So you have to treat, at least with as much emphasis as you do your regular job that's paying your bills and putting food on the table, your future goal and your future thing you're trying to put in place and make it your priority in the majority of your time. And and I do this too, so that I'm not trying to preach like I'm all perfect, but like those 3 hours you set aside or 2 hours you set aside after you're done with all your stuff, say you have kids, say you have your job, you got to mow the lawn, whatever it is you have to do in your regular life, take out the trash, blah, 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 run errands. You can't let all that be priority over your 2 hours you have set aside for your goals, or you'll never reach your goal. Because if you constantly always make that the thing that you forego, you go, you know what? I have to do these, but you know what? 2 hours on my goals, I have a choice to not do them or do them, and they won't affect my current status. So those are always the things that go by the wayside, and that's why dreams always go by the wayside. Because you choose not to do those 2 hours, and you don't realize those 2 hours a night might seem small, but stacked together over a year, 2 hours times 365. Think about that, 2 hours times 365. You're literally looking at like 730 hours or some wild shit like that. That's like a lot of time towards something that you're trying to do that'll help you get there and help you make an impact and start to open doors for what you're trying to be, where you're trying to go. But if you forever just go, well, I did the basic I did the standard. I did the bare minimum, which was go to my job. Now I'm tired. I'm gonna watch Seinfeld and I'm gonna fall asleep and go to bed. And no, that's exactly what you deserve then, you know. But if you're trying to do that extra thing, you have to put as much emphasis as you at least put on the job you're going to on that stuff, and do it and treat it part of your everyday thing. You wouldn't call out sick for work, so why are you calling out sick for your dreams? You know, call out sick for your dreams, you're tardy, and they're going to fire you from your dream, and you're not going to have that dream. You know, so that's a big thing I think with action is like, what's your next logical step? Focus on it. I've done a good job in the last 2 days on it. I haven't done a good job for a long time, but it's so eye-opening. The last 2 days I've actually achieved. Normally I would say, okay, I do all my business stuff, I do all my things, I have my family, and then I have the podcast today. And I'm like, well, what are you doing with that extra 3 hours in between? You know, hanging out with the wife? Well, she don't care. She's playing on her phone. And it's like I have some beats I'm trying to finish. I'm trying to finish 2 different songs lyrically. And I'm like, no, man, I'm going to finish that stuff. And I have the last 2 days got in there. People are at the house. I'm like, but they're noisy. Normally that would be my excuse, right? The kids are screaming and yelling at the video games. My wife turns the TV watching her little, like, Lords of the Rings or whatever she watches, Game of Thrones. And she's got that cranked up. And got this new surround sound. It's super loud. And, watching that, playing her phone, like, and I'm like, and screaming at the kids. And then next thing you know, I'm like, man, that's all picked up on my microphone. I can't be recording in that environment. That's just going to be bad recordings. And I stopped using that as an excuse or a crutch and started just saying, screw it. I'm going to get in there and I'm just going to record, and recording anyway. And next thing you know, man, in the last 2 days, I've got a new beat done, which is a fire beat, a new song done, which is a fire song, and another fire song of me on the lyrics. Another one's me on the lyrics and me on the beats, and then a fire beat. Like, literally got these things done, and I got more things done with those 2 little things. Like, literally hammered out. I have a song with me lyrically on one, a song with me lyrically on another one, and then a beat that's super fire. All that stuff done in the last couple of days. I'm like, man, if I would have just been cracking like this for the last X amount of months, where I just say, I don't care if, say, the wife's home and the kids are home, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Because normally I operate like, well, if they're home, then I'll just do things that aren't music. I'll go ahead and work on the garage, clean in the garage, and do these other things. And the problem is, what happens when I do that? Well, I end up not doing anything in my goals, so started doing that. I've had a lot of luck the last couple of days and been doing some really exciting stuff. Also, I'm like, oh my god, that's so amazing. I've got like this cool song and the verse is amazing, and the mix on the vocal is crazy. I've never heard myself sound like Nas or whatever. Like, I'm like, that is the style of that song where I'm like, man, that sounds amazing. So focus on your next logical step and try to take off your stress you have from your day-to-day life, your basics, covering your bills and stuff. You got to focus on that. But if you're making that your priority, and you're literally doing nothing on your thing, or choosing to make that so much a priority that you don't actually ever do anything action-wise on your goals, then you're not going to do it. Like, I started doing the same thing, justifying that I wasn't doing anything on my goals, and I was like, but I got to pay these bills, man, so sorry, I can't be working on music. I got to make this money, pay these bills. Well, guess what I got my bills paid and none of my dreams done. So I will be 70, 80 years old with a guy who got his bills paid. But none of that new stuff I'm trying to do, the big things I'm trying to do, is ever going to happen. So you've got to apply yourself. You got to take your action and put it there. And so like I'm saying, if you have 2 hours slotted out a night, because you probably plan for it but then never execute it, make it as much of a priority as showing up to work. I mean, why not call out sick to work and work on whatever your goal is, as crazy as that sounds, I'm not saying quit your job and go crazy, but like at the same time, if you're choosing your job to literally not do anything on your dream, well, nothing's gonna happen. I mean, really, you're going, my dream is just not working, and then you got to really like look at yourself and go, have I actually done anything about it? No, I actually haven't physically done anything. Like these people you see doing their dreams, they're like, yeah, every day I was out all night. Michael J. Fox, he's like, yeah, I was living in a closet. I moved from Canada. I lived in a closet. I was doing, 5,000 auditions a day. Boom, boom, boom. I wasn't sleeping. I sleep for like 2 hours, get back up, go to my freaking coffee job. And then after that, I went and I was a valet parking guy. And then after that, I would go do all my calls on my shoots. And it's like, you think about Michael J. Fox. He was doing not growing pains, what is the show, not Full House, what's that show he was on?
I don't remember now.
Damn it. Like normally anyway, he was on a show that was massive. He would shoot that show all day. After he was done at night, all night, he would be doing Back to the Future. So Back to the Future was done, and he's super freaking tired. He's already done 12 hours on this other set. Then he'd jump in on that other show and shoot that whole show, go back to the other set, sleep for a couple hours, take naps. He'd be napping between his shots. So like literally to make that happen, for a freaking 2 years he did this stuff. And people don't realize this is what people do to make great things happen. They have to do great sacrifices. He sacrificed tons of sleep, and made that happen. But most of us are so concerned about prioritizing our sleep and our comforts, we'll never ever do anything great. We were like, nah, man, I can't give up my things. Well, you would rather have your comforts than greatness. And you see that.
Yeah, you should say that again.
Most of us prioritize our comforts over our dreams and being great. So and I don't have to say it again because it'll be on YouTube. You better rewind this. But the thing is, it's a true thing. It's like we want this stuff, but we would never like. I mean, even me, for a second, I'm like, damn, man, he didn't even sleep. Like, and he did, like, he's 12 hours, and then he had to work another 8 hours on freaking, on one of the greatest, arguably the greatest shows ever, Back to the Future. He had to do that whole show with no sleep. That's it. That's crazy. Mind you, most of the people weren't even there that were shooting the video with him, because some other actor had already did all Marty McFly's stuff. They kicked him off of that movie and then picked Michael J. Fox for it. So he was acting against a fake screen. Hey, pretend somebody's there saying these words to you. So he doesn't even have other people to like keep him alive and act with. He just acting to like the wall. And he did that whole show like acting with nobody around, and tired as shit, middle of the night. All the other actors had already shot their parts before he even got there, because he was busy on his show he had, So but there's a lot to be said about these people. You hear them like, yeah, I didn't sleep, I hammered down, I got paid $3 for this, I got, and they starved for so long, until they got there. But they still treated it as like their priority. They still, sure he had a valet parking job and a job at Target or whatever, right? But he did those, and then he treated the other thing like priority. After he was done with those, he went on the set of whatever it was that he was doing, say it's Growing Pains or whatever that show was, Family Ties. I think it was Family Ties. So he goes and does Family Ties. After Family Ties, he treats the other thing like it's a priority as well. And that's why we have one of the most legendary movies ever, which is frickin', Back to the Future. But you have to do that. So, and I find myself doing it too, hey man, I at least paid my bills. I at least did my job. I got enough money to pay my bills. I'm a human, okay? I'm tired. I'm just going to take a nap and try it again tomorrow. And maybe I can squeeze this in. Well, if you treat it like maybe I can squeeze this in, guess what? You won't ever squeeze it in. And I am a person who's done the exact same thing. So I'm not telling you guys like this is about somebody else. This is about me. I've messed up like this. This is me. And I know nobody knows me, but I'm no joke. And this is me. I'm literally like, yo, I'm going to do this. And it's like, I'm so tired, man. I'll do it tomorrow. And it's like, I've only had like, I've been cracking. I've been doing a pretty good job. I can't just down myself all day. You got to give yourself a little bit of props. I've been hammering, but like the last 2 days I've been doing it like a robot. So like what it would look like for a robot to get these things done. Like if I set it down in a list, I checked every box. I didn't miss one, right? And it's like, man, the amount of stuff I got done that was so hyping to me. Like I was like, oh my God, like these last 2 songs I spit to are freaking fire. And I finally nailed the tone of my vocal, and I'm like, all these things I never did. I'm like, well, you know what? I would get in the booth after work and just like bang out like the idea of it and leave and never touch it again for another year. And wonder why I never ever honed in the tone of the vocal. So this last couple of days of really just working that, boom, 2 songs. Another beat, which is a super hard beat, like which normally I don't work that hard on one beat. And I'm like, oh my God, this stuff sounded amazing. And it's just like, that's the kind of stuff that once you start applying yourself and doing it, you'd be surprised what 2 hours a day will do for you. 2 hours of action towards what you're trying to do. Because I understand right now, hey, we're just trying to get by. A lot of us don't have jobs, or a lot of us are struggling, and I get that. And I'm not an empathetic type of person, but I'm empathetic to that. I get it. But if you want that to be, if you're happy with just the excuse when you're on your tombstone saying, well, hey, I was just really busy, never achieved my dreams, on your epitaph, like on your tombstone, to say, hey, I was just really busy, I didn't have enough time, so here I lie. You know, here lays the guy that just was so fucking busy, he just didn't have time to do his dream. Here lies the guy with an excuse. And that's not it. That's not it. That ain't the way. That ain't right. So I as a person who finally applied myself, like just vigorously, like just getting there, found myself going, man, like I literally looked at myself in the mirror. Like I always shave before these shows, so I take a shower right before I get on. And I looked at myself and was like, man, I'm smiling at myself in the mirror, like, damn, bro, you got it today. I'm so proud of you. I feel so good. Normally I feel bad about myself and I'm down on myself every day because I'm like, don't get in here, don't get this stuff done. I'm drinking a beer. I just end up saying fuck it and watching TV show going, I only got an hour, what's the point? And then just going like, well, just get on it tomorrow real hardcore. And then tomorrow you do the same thing and then you tie a bunch of those together and it's like half a year. So it's like, and I'm just down on myself and then I feel like an idiot. I feel like a slacker. But all of a sudden, I've been not doing that lately. All of 2022, all 6 days of it. So literally, like the amount of stuff I got done, I'm smiling at myself, going, "Man, I'm proud of you." And then I'm thinking, "Geez, man, it's so eye-opening that what if I did this all of?" And I did a lot, and I did a lot in 2021, and I've done a lot. But what if I was to execute the way I did the last 2 days for all of last year? Oh, I would have been way ahead. And it's undeniable shit. So, again, if you're going to take action, focus on your next logical step. Don't prioritize the basic nuts and bolts of what you got to do to get done as priority. It is priority. Sure, you got to pay your bills, you got to feed your kids, you got to do your thing. But don't make it such a priority that you're saying it's over, it's either that or. Don't make it an either or thing, this job or that. It's this job and this is priority as much, if not more, than this, because I'm trying to get there. Right? Like you're trying to get there. This is the destination. I'm trying to get to this destination. And if you made just being here the priority, well, you're always going to stay here. But you have to prioritize the destination. So you got to do both, right? So because we know what it's like to fall off and say I'm going straight for the destination and say fuck everything else that makes bills, and then you find yourself broke as shit and you can't get anywhere. But there's definitely, you got to prioritize both, especially right now, and then eventually it will slowly transition to the point where you're just doing what you love to do. And then you find new goals and bigger things, and we're all trying to do that shit, you know? I'm trying to do that shit. But the more I do it, the more I find myself, I don't work for anybody else. I work for myself. That's pretty cool. I fucking hate working for other people because I feel like everyone, like my number one thing is I'm a narcissist, and I think everybody's wrong and I'm always right. And that makes it really hard to work for a person, you know? When you're a narcissist like I am. I always think I'm right. I'm pretty sure I am. But it makes it hard to work for a boss who is, no matter what, based on his little name badge, right. And so I work for myself, and now I get to be right all the time because I'm the boss and I get to answer to me. You know, and if I'm wrong, I get to answer to me. So and I'm there, so I'm gradually getting where I need to go, but you have to focus on that, you know. And at one point when I had a job, I'm a store manager, acting district manager, so I'm working my ass off on 2 lanes, right? What do you call it? Training store manager, and then I have a full-on side business. Plus, I'm trying to do music. And I'm cracking on that as vigorously, like literally as I'm running a store and running this district, I'm looking at my phone and running this other business. Like the business I'm trying to get to get me out of working in retail. And guess what happened? I got out of that business. I got out of the retail. I was able to do it because I focused as hard and I had a goal. I said, I'm going to get to this number in sales, and then this means I can quit this dumbass job. And I did it. I leaped. I did it. I failed eventually in like a year and a half. I switched it up and screwed up the whole thing, but it was more of a pause button. I went back to a regular job. COVID hit, got back, and hey, I knew what I did wrong, got back on it, and just leaned in hard on it, and now it's doing its thing. And that took me doing that as vigorously as I would do the regular job. I did both. Now I do this. Now I can work on my music. So it's all a stepping piece. And then make that as vigorous and hard as it. Because I was talking to Will the other day. It was like, or it might have been on the podcast. I don't know. But say like I sell beats, right? So like I sell music and licensing to my, you know, instrumentals and things of that nature. And it's like, if I would put as much emphasis as I do on selling things for my company on selling beats, I would be selling beats right now instead of having to do any other job. I'd just be doing what I want to do, which is to sell music. If I was out there grinding and getting to these, and I'd be like, I'm going to hustle these beats, but I don't even ever try to, when it's crunch time, like say I need to pay these bills. What do? I go to selling the products I do on my store. As opposed to going, why don't I work really hard and make emphasis on selling this music to be the solution? Treat that as the solution to fix my financial opportunity I have at the time. And put all that energy into that. And then I'd be slanging music. But I don't. I go, oh shit, bill time's coming. I'm going to have to something with this other thing and making it do more on that, where if I started hitting everyone on Instagram, yo, what's up, I got some beats for sale, blah blah blah, and just going ham on that for like 5-6 hours a day, I'd probably be making way more money than I am now, you know. And that's where I'm at. That's the transition I'm making now. But point is, put your action and your emphasis and priority on your next logical step of your goal, and not what you're doing right now to stay where you're at right now. and I don't know how many different ways I need to say it. I probably didn't articulate it well. At some point, I will lock in, but trying to make a point, like most people are focused on staying afloat, and that's where all their energy goes, and not at where they're trying to go. Like, imagine you're on a boat that's taking on water, and you just got buckets trying to get that water out of the boat so you stay afloat. If that's all you focus on, and you don't have a paddle outside the boat rowing you towards where you're trying to go, you're always just going to be sitting still in the middle of the water, staying afloat as somebody has a bucket just scooping the water out. But nobody's trying to push you forward. So you should be putting as much emphasis as getting the water and bailing it out of the raft as you are with a oar in the water trying to row you forward towards where you're trying to go. It's kind of my point. It's the metaphor I have for now, out of the top of my head, which I think is a decent one. You want to sit still, keep bailing yourself out, because that's kind of how we are, check to check, right? We're bailing the water out of the boat. It's sinking. I'm just trying to get to this next check, and you're bailing that water off the boat, and you just stay there, and you're forever just going to be bailing the water frantically. I'm never going to get any better. But if you have at least one oar, bail, figure out a rhythm. Bail a little water, row 4 times, bail 2 things of water, row 4 times, bail, and then you're going to be working double time, right? You're busting your ass. But at least you're moving towards where the hell you're trying to go, which will eventually be land. Then you get to stop bailing out water, right? And now you're on land with new ventures and things you're trying to do. But now you're finally on land. Whereas if you just keep bailing the water, you're going to stay floating that water all the time, bailing frantically till you're dead. But if you have a couple oars, you slowly, eventually get yourself to the shore. And guess what? Now I don't have to bail water anymore. Now I'm on solid ground. Now I'm going to frickin' momentum it towards where I need to go. Think of that, because that's where it is, and that is the perfect metaphor for what I'm trying to say. You guys, we're bailing water with this check-to-check shit with these jobs, but if we don't put as much emphasis on oaring and swimming forward, we'll never hit that dry land where we finally get, to the little pirate's map to the treasure. You know what I mean? Like, you'll forever be bailing out water. So you have to do that. You have to emphasize. I mean, so it's bitching. That's the most bitching metaphor ever. Like, I might make a picture about it. Like, I don't know how to, I'll articulate it in a picture. Like, someone bailing water, but you need to be equally bailing and rowing forward. And only that way will you eventually hit land. Only that way will you eventually hit your goal, which is where you're trying to be, to help you get grander and bigger and better things. Or you'll forever be chasing check to check and never hit financial freedom and whatever it is you're trying to do, your goals, your things, because, you're going to be stuck in the bailing stage, bailing in that water. I can't even believe I thought of that amazing metaphor. I just want to pat myself on the back. I was joking. No, but it really is a true picture of what it is. Imagine, if you can, in your head. Bailing out the water, sure, it's staying afloat, but it's never going to get to land. So that's what you'll be able to do your whole life. Stuck in the middle of an ocean, bailing water with no hope, just going, I'll never get to the shore. Well, you won't. You'll never get to financial freedom. You'll never get to your goals. You have to emphasize and prioritize equally as staying afloat and not sinking as you do, or with that oar in the water, going forward, paddling yourself forward towards that shore. Sure, you can't paddle that much because you're so busy just trying to keep yourself from sinking, but every little bit matters to eventually you'll be on that shore and you will never have to bail again. And you'll look back, at one point I had to bail and I had to oar at the same time. And then you're telling other people that are stuck out there in the middle of the ocean on their little cell phone going, man, I'm stuck out here bailing it out. I can never see how that works. It's like, well, hey, man, I had to do double time and I had to use this oar and start utilizing it. Well, it's too hard. I'd rather just bail this water, and I can deal with that much stress and pain. Yeah. I think that's what Will was trying to get at. It's like just action towards your next logical step as emphasizing your basics,
100%. It's well said.
Yep. I think so. So,
Yeah, I think we're good on that.
all right, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Yeah, priorities.
Prioritize.
All right.
All right.